If you've never been to the National before, it will blow your mind. If you've been there before, you know some of the things that I'm about to tell you, but it might be worth listening to the next few minutes just to make sure you have everything you need to succeed. The National is a card show of epic proportions. It's up to you to figure out how to navigate cardboard euphoria over the matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 days. Number one, why are you going? It's up to you to understand why you're going. Are you going to hang out with friends? Are you going for business connections? Or are you going to pick up cards? Or one to n number of reasons that might send you to the National. Having a clear understanding as to why you are attending the show is critical to you thriving and surviving. Once you know why, it is up to you to have a plan. And I'm not just talking about what time are you arriving in Cleveland or a different city if you're watching it, it's a different time, where you're staying, things like that. While those are important, I'm talking about a plan specifically at the National itself. Are you going there to get a bunch of freebies? If so, have you navigated, scouted, figured out where things are? Is there a specific PC card that you're looking for? Are you going to get specific autographs from certain sports card legends, rookies, athletes, pop culture, whatever the case may be? If so, have you figured out when they're going to be there, what the ranges is, how much it's going to cost, all those types of things? You're going to have to plan that stuff accordingly. There's one to n number of things that could apply to this plan, but it's up to you to make sure you structure what you plan on doing. Write it down, whether it be in your phone, put it on a notepad. Heck, do both just in case your phone dies. Make sure you know what you're going for. It's going to be very easy to get distracted or send off times. I could see you saying, oh, shiny object, oh, squirrel, all day long, every day. But if you have a plan, it'll help you at least accomplish some of the things you wanted to do. You think you've seen a trade night before? I'd be remiss if I didn't at least bring up Card Collector 2's now official trade night with the National. The thing started out 30 people in a hotel room, I want to say it was in Atlantic City. Now you're talking about thousands of people and giveaways at the deal. It's gotten very commercialized, but you can still have a great time and beat inflated prices that you'll find on the showroom floor by working with other people at trade night. You can still buy there, you can still sell there, plenty of that'll go on. Regardless, I would advise going to his trade night at least once just to experience it. But keep in mind, if trade night is starting at 7, if you want to get in the first wave, you're probably in line at 4. So depending on how long you're going to be at the National will drive whether or not you should do it, because you're basically going to give up a large chunk of probably Thursday. That's normally when he does it. So keep that in mind, but that trade night is incredible. Quick update to this little one right here. It's not just Ryan Card Collector 2. The National has just announced they're doing trade nights pretty much every night of the week, quote unquote official ones. So be on the lookout for exactly what those are. This hasn't happened before, so I really can't tell you exactly what it's going to be. Now, if you're asking me a knee-jerk reaction, I'm expecting it is an extension of the already established trade nights that exist each night, right? There's always been a TCG trade night, stuff like that. I think the National is probably just partnering with all these to make it more official, but I really don't know, so we'll have to be on the lookout for that one. Sorry, I can't be a little more specific. Look, a lot of people refer to the National as a museum, and there's some truth to that. A lot of the prices there can be very expensive. We're not talking about 10% over comps here. Some are 30, 50, 100, 200% over comps. Now, of course, dealers that come from all around the country and set up have to bank in prices for employees, time, effort, energy, all those types of things, which will drive costs up. But keep in mind that if you've spent thousands of dollars to travel to the National to get the cards you want, and it's there, and it's 25%, 30% over comps, don't let that be the reason you don't get the card you wanted, because you already spent all that money to get there in the first place, right? I'm not saying go crazy, but keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out what you do and what you don't want to do. And also, remember that pricing can still be flexible. Look, a dealer may have a card in there at 180%, but if you know what the price is, you can bring it up. You can try to work a deal. Heck, maybe there's 2 or 3 cards you want to get. Look, deals can still be had at the National. I'm going to be honest with you, though. It's a lot harder to make happen. The real deals, and I'm going to do a separate video about this, are during the National, but not in that convention center floor. So keep your eyes out for that one. Check out freebies and promos. Believe me, the National, a show of this size, there will be tons of freebies and promotions. You'll be able to track down what they are by company, by vendor, by booth, so you know what you want to try to attack and what you don't. Keep in mind, those freebies and promos will have lines. It's almost a guarantee, especially if you're trying to do something like silver pack redemptions from Panini or Topps. You can expect to be in those lines from anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple of hours just to get your silver packs or your promo packs. So knowing all the promos and freebies will go a long way. I'm going to try to make another video as we get a lot closer to the National, probably a week out, that'll try to break down as many freebies and promos as I can find that'll be available at this edition of the National. But knowing those will really help you plan your day. Are you a person that grades sports cards? If so, the National is a great location to take advantage of usual specials that'll exist. You can expect something from Beckett, if that's your thing, SGC, CGC, or even PSA, right? They'll all have some kind of special related to the National. Now, it could be on-site grading, and those are very expensive if you're looking for return at the show, usually $200-300 to submit to get it back by the end of the show. But if the card's valuable enough, it might be worth it. But regardless, as long as you are ready and prepared, you'll be able to take advantage of almost all of these grading specials, assuming the company that you care about is doing it. And odds are, if it's a big grading company, they are doing something. Even if it's just a matter of you not wanting to mail it, right? If you can bring it with you, have it boxed up, fill out your forms before you get there, get in line, turn it in right there in the National. Then you don't have to worry about it. You hand it off. It's good to go, right? It's a great way to do business. Look, I take advantage of PSA's options every time. I really don't grade with much with SGC or Beckett or CGC or even the 17th and 37th tier grading companies for me. Doesn't matter how I feel about PSA. PSA is the one I use. So check it out. Look up on-site grading things. They can be available. Roll that into your plan. Make sure you've figured out how you plan on paying for things on the showroom floor. Look, you might have a credit card with a $50,000 balance you plan on maxing out. But keep in mind, there's lots of people on the floor that don't take credit. Cash will still be king. That's unavoidable. Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal. But again, if you're at a table and you're going to make a deal with a dealer, find out what types of mechanisms they use in order to accept payment before you start the deal. It only takes 2 seconds, but then you know. Because heck, what's the point of spending a half hour for him, her, or you to figure out if you come up to a price to then only find out you can't pay for it? Make sure you know how you can do it. Make sure you budget it accordingly. It's easy to go crazy in a place like this. Don't let that happen to you. Making sure you have copies of the floor plan and the schedule for the show with you at any given time. Print it out, fold it up, stick it in your pocket. Again, your phone might die. Who knows? Make sure you know. And when you have that floor plan as part of your preparation, you can mark out where the things are that you want to go. Figure out how you want to get there, what time you want to get there, things like that. But having a copy of the floor plan and the schedule of events, whether it be box breaks, autograph signers, giveaways, whatever the case may be, knowing all that stuff will go a long way in helping you know your prices so you don't get fucked over, right? You walk in the room, you used to go into a place and you always have your phone and you know what something's going to cost. All of a sudden you walk in the National and you're like, man, I don't have a signal. I don't have a signal. Why would I say that? Because that almost always happens. So you're like, no. What do I do? I don't know how much something costs. And then you start trusting people. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And your eyes are closed to the logic of what's happening around you. It's not worth it. Look, my suggestion, write down 30-day comps, 90-day comps. Keep track of them, right? Make sure you know what the prices are. And then you may be willing to pay more, and that's all right. But know your prices. Know them cold. Don't rely on a signal to have to get you that information. Yeah, at the same time, the dealer, they'll probably be paying for a premium Wi-Fi, and they'll probably have connectivity. And besides that, they already know what they're asking for the card, and they probably already know what it comps for, right? Make sure you know, and you're not bamboozled. Look, one of the worst things you want to do, right, is go in there, buy 4 or 5 cards, say you spend $500, $5,000, doesn't matter. And you get back to the hotel and realize you overpaid by 200%, 100%. I mean, you still might like the cards, but that'll put a souring on your experience. So if you really want to thrive, make sure you know your prices. Make sure you've written them down. Don't rely on yourself remembering. Write them down. Trust me, it's worth your time. All right, here's one that's not all that popular. I don't really care. My suggestion, I wouldn't focus on tables from influencers or content creators that you see on YouTube all the time. I'm not saying they all do it, but some will use that as an opportunity to mark their prices up because people are going to want to buy from them. So they'll squeak out an extra 20, 25% above maybe someone else in the room that's just there to set up. So it's something to keep in mind. Also, tables like that are going to be insanely packed. People want to get their photo, their moment, hope to get on that person's YouTube, right? That person's going to take advantage of those opportunities. It's going to delay your time. My suggestion to all of you, avoid those tables. Now I know they're not going to want to hear that. And I know there's going to be lots of people in the comments that disagree. That's well and good. You do your thing. I'm telling you my opinion from experience that I've seen over the years at the National. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. But if I was you, I would avoid the content creators and influencers, especially if you're in a time crunch or a budget crunch. Look, it's important to know what you plan on bringing with you to the National. And again, there's a different video that'll break down my suggestions of what you should and shouldn't bring to the National. But some things to think about, and you'll hear lots of people talk about these things: comfortable shoes, snacks, water, some way to carry your cards, battery chargers for your phone, things of that nature. There's a laundry list: schedules, cash, stuff like that. That'll really matter to what you do and don't do at the National. One of the big challenges at a place like the National, they'll tell you if you walk up to a table and you see a card you want, that's the time, buy it then, right? But that might not be the case. Odds are you're probably going to try to find a cheaper price unless it's a very rare card. And then once you start heading down aisles and paths, you're going to forget what the card actually was. My suggestion to people is do something like take your phone, take a picture of the card, take a picture of the booth, and something pointed up above that lets you, like a landmark to let you know where it is. That way you can go back and find it later. Having that on your phone could be critical to tracking something down. And believe me, you're talking about thousands of tables and displays and everything else in the way. It's really easy to get lost, despite the fact that you're like, I'll remember because that's important to me. So if you're looking for something, it doesn't have to be a specific card you want to buy. Let's say there is a promo you want to pick up or someone you want to go back and talk to, whatever the case may be. Take advantage of things like phones. Take pictures. That way you know where to go back and look. Trust me. Look, and if you're really into cards, the National is a great opportunity to build relationships, network, if you will. Now, I'm not talking about content creator network or influencer network. I'm talking about finding people you can do deals with. It doesn't just have to be at the National. Remember, there's 365 days in a year. If you make new relationships with these people, whether it be a trade night, so then it's folks you can trust on Instagram or Facebook Marketplace, or dealers at the shows that you find out you'll be able to work with going forward, building those relationships is huge. And aside from the monetary purpose, take advantage of the opportunity to meet new people. I mean, where else are you going to go to a place where there's tens of thousands of people? They're all into pictures of guys on cardboard or women on cardboard. This is a great opportunity. Everyone like-minded, like interests. It's kind of hard to beat that. Take advantage of it. Make new friends. Have a grand old time. Make this a social experience as much as it is a cardboard experience. All right. Don't be the asshole in the room. Please, don't be that guy. Look, etiquette is a good thing. We should all use it, especially at places like the National. For example, let's say you go up to a table and there's a card you want to look at and the dealer is working a deal with someone else. Don't interrupt. Your time is not more important than anyone else's. To you, of course it is. But to the dealer, he's already working a deal with someone. He's going to want to finish that first. Wait your turn. Take your time. Don't interrupt. Take these opportunities for what they are. The moral of the story of the last couple seconds, right? Just be a good person. Don't show up there and be an asshat, all right? Show etiquette. Show concern for others. Most will show concern for you. Let that be part of what makes this experience a little bit better. The National can be a crazy show floor and a crazy experience. Little cardboard euphoria, all that kind of stuff, right? So take heed of some of the things I said in here. Apply the ones that matter. Ignore the things that don't. Take the time, plan, think clearly. Make sure you're ready. That way you can survive and thrive.